Gather, veterans. It's time to join the fight. The long war begins.
This is The Long War. I'm Robbie B, and joining me are my partners in crime, Kenny Boucher and Mike Haskell. What's up, guys?
Yo, dog, great to be here.
Yeah, what's up, everybody?
So we're back.
Where were we?
You were in Colorado. I was pretty much in the same place I am right now.
The Fayetteville Beats Lab?
I like to call it the CAT Command Center.
The CAT Command Center. Where were you, Haspel?
I was here in Colorado. In fact, we have a really good battle report that's coming up where Kenny made me cry.
I didn't make him cry.
Next up on The Long War, Kenny makes Mike Haskell cry.
He did make me make a sad face.
Yeah, there was definitely
at a key point in the game when I was like, yeah, my space wolves are indestructible. Wait, you're casting what? Oh, man.
I thought I had it. Come back to me. I can do better.
Yeah, so I was like, oh.
It was good. It was a solid game.
Yeah,
Chaos
good
Space
game.
Marines to full force versus some awesome Space Wolves.
Yeah, it was fun.
Battle for the Ages there. So that'll be out next week?
That'll be on Monday.
All
Monday on thelongwar.net.
Okay. Word. Or a couple of weeks on the YouTubes.
Yeah, if you're a homeless person who watches YouTube, sorry, but it's gonna take 2 weeks to see it, and there's gonna be some ads.
Yeah.
Just a few. Gotta pay the bills. So the title of tonight's episode is GW's FAQs. Who's using them? Because it's going to come to our attention that, well, a lot of people out there might not be using them or might not think that they're, worth working with, et cetera, reasons. But, we'll definitely get into that at some point on because I feel like it's kind of a missed opportunity, if we don't, when it's so easy to basically interface with them on Facebook. So
during the meats and the potatoes of the show, we will give you our very highly opinionated stances on the subject with
we're
no
like
bias
the View, but for
whatsoever.
40K. Yeah, none whatsoever. Every now and then we all have the same opinion about something.
Yeah, sometimes it turns out we all agree with each other, and that doesn't mean that we haven't thought about it.
It's just one of those rare occurrences with all the planets line up together, and Cthulhu was released.
But obviously, we missed a week. We took our first week off since Christmas, and that means we also missed an FAQ last week.
Yep. So we're definitely gonna have a what's new in the FAQ double feature, two-fer, so to speak, at some point after the Tabletop Market Watch, which is full of even more great products for this week.
You mean more things came out? Like I heard about this Plastic Horse Heresy models that came out that cost $1,000 billion.
Well, I think that's like a space shuttle or a Death Star, but
I read some Facebook articles that were like, these models are insanely expensive.
Turns out I was on the Australian site when I posted that. Full disclosure. So I got a culture shock. And speaking of Australia, I got a shout out to Muzza down in Down Under. He and I had a long Facebook conversation and everything. He's a long-time listener, so that was very cool. But yeah, so I feel for the Australians and all the Kiwis out there because I don't know what happened. I guess it just auto-defaulted to the Australia
Mine
page.
does that with Sweden all the time.
Yeah, with mobile, it seems to always go to Sweden for some reason. I don't know why.
And I got a little bit of a heart attack when I saw the prices. I was like, what? That's insane. And then somebody pointed out on the thing, it might have been David, actually, Kenny.
Sounds like a David move.
David might have been like, are you sure you're not on the Australian site? And I was like, man, what are you talking about? Like,
what are you stupid? You stupid? Wow, I know how to computer.
Yeah, it says $, duh.
I was like, oh, this is not an American flag up here.
Nope. So, yeah,
sorry for my Australian brothers. The struggle is real down there, homie.
Yeah, no lie.
You got spiders to kill, snakes to kill, sharks to kill, crocodiles to kill. Literally everything kills you, including the cost of GW models.
Oh. Well, I like, on the one hand, how it makes buying the Betrayal at Calth so much more enticing, because when you add up the cost of all the models based on this new box set price, it's $325. But if you go by, what they're charging per box, it's, I can see where sometimes people could be like, hey, that might be a little high, like Haspel was saying with the Contemptor Dreadnought. But when you look at things like the 2-person Heroes pack, we know their clan packs go for about $30. So when that's priced at $50, it kind of seems like a value.
Yeah. Well,
Rob,
I felt like. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
When you said I can see where, did that trigger Siri?
It did.
I heard Siri go in there, and I was
hoping nobody would hear that.
I can see where. Siri says, "See where? See what, bitch?"
She always gets me, like, I'll be doing unboxing videos or something, and then I'll slur my words because it's from the South, and she'll pop up, or the cats will just be like straight brawling for like couch supremacy or something,
and their sounds will sound exactly like Siri. It'd been funny.
No,
Siri,
it's just a firefight.
It would have been funny if you just give Siri an Australian accent.
She actually does. I'm not even joking. Siri, what time is it? Hold on.
She gave you the cold shoulder.
I think I turned her off. No, but seriously. Siri, what time is it?
Yep. She hates you now.
It's 21:48.
Oh.
It's exotic.
You beat me to the punch. Word.
Very early Bond, sexy assistant.
That's our homage to the poor Australian currency and luxury tax and GW hate of Australia.
Yep. But
so sorry to interrupt you guys. I just thought that was funny.
Good catch. Or laugh cry. So we got those. Those will be in stores this week. Those will be.
I think so. Yeah.
This week.
Yeah.
And then next week, there's some really cool stuff. I know Haspel's been talking about Age of Sigmar, but they got the $33 mini starter coming out for Age of Sigmar, which I think is kind of neat. I'm a little jealous personally because I've been doing some demo games with the full box set, and they have like a book in there, but they don't have any little like quick reference cards for the units that come in it, and it looks like this little box game does. So I was like, I'd kill for those to be in the main Age of Sigmar starter.
You wouldn't want to know the things I would do to have those.
I'll tell you what, like having the stuff, and we talked about this, but man, having that stuff on the table definitely helps out the game for people like me.
Yeah.
Well,
I will point out.
What do you mean, people like you?
So I like to order everything by picture. Like when I go into a restaurant, I want to order by picture. Like I went to a lot of people have been noticing my new haircut, and I literally went into the hairstylist, and I'm like, I pulled up the picture of Matt LeBlanc on Top Gear, and I'm like, because it looks so fresh, his haircut looks so fresh now, and I'm like, I want this, and she just laughed at me. I was like, I always order by picture. I want this.
Got it.
And she's like, I do too, and I was like, no, I just want his haircut.
Well, I do want to point out that there is an Age of Sigmar app for smartphones where you can build your, like, basically what collection you're going to use on there, and it has the current war scroll right there. So you can just be like, oh, I'm going to move my prosecutors or whatever, and you
Is this a GW app?
Yes,
yeah,
it is.
It's pretty fresh. I put it in the battle report we recorded here in the Beats Lab for Spikey Bits. I basically showed people how it worked, but it's really neat. You basically click the war scrolls that you want, and then it puts it into the separate area where you can quick reference your army. That's basically how you build your army. They haven't introduced points, which they may tomorrow or when the general's handbook comes out. But for now, you just kind of toggle this little button, this hammer button, on or off, and it puts it in a separate section, and then you can swipe through your war scrolls. And you can also buy the formations and stuff, because the formation battalions are kind of scattered throughout a lot of the books that have already come out, so they're a little harder to find. So instead of spending $50 on a book, you can unlock it for $1.99 or whatever.
Yeah, so it's actually very well done, and I'm hoping that they put in the points, the points versions once the generals thing drop off. I mean, I'll pay money for it. I'm not expecting to get
literally.
it.
I will pay money for all those things. Age of Sigmar is about to come back.
I think so in a big way. In fact, during the webcast, I was lamenting that I got rid of my pretty large Stormcast Eternal army, and now it looks like I'm gonna have to rebuild them. So it's like, ugh.
Most unfortunate.
Yeah, those guys were all painted and based, and I'm like, oh man, that was a lot of. Well, here we go again.
Well, I mean, GW put out a shitty game system, and then they had to come back and and fix it.
And it's I think it's going to be fixed. I think it's going to be pretty cool. So
like I know there's some people out there like our good friend Stoner Steve who says he thinks that putting points in it makes it worse because but not everyone is a crack addict like he is. Like bought 100 trees. You know what I'm saying? Like literally 100. And so I mean, but at the end of the day, there's a sacred oath. Like the sanctity of war games, like miniature wargaming, and that is that there's a point system.
Yeah, and unless you're playing a strictly just scenario based thing.
Yeah, where it already has everything figured out for you. But if you're gonna take a very robust universe with all these cool stories and all these individual models that can take these individual pieces of war gear, and you're gonna take points out, you're basically saying let's just play Green Army soldiers from when we were kids.
Yeah,
right.
They've never had any rules.
I can make up. I mean, I made up rules anyway to that shit too. You know what I'm saying? You take away the sanctity, like that pact, and no matter how cool the models are, no matter how cool the rules are, you just completely shit on a 100-year tradition of wargaming. When especially when you're a model making company who makes rules. So I'm so glad to see them come back and say, all right, guys, we can see our checkbooks reflect your opinion. We got it.
Yeah, and speaking of the little army men, my nephew is about to get got because he's going to come visit in August, and I already bought the Battle for Vedros starter. But the last time he was here, he was just taking miniatures and making up his own game. Just this guy's fighting this guy, and this guy's fighting this guy. So now he's going to get the Battle for Vedros. Like, here you go, straight. Welcome to the big leagues.
It's about to go down.
It's about to get real.
Man, that's so fresh to hear that new kind of blood is coming back to the hobby. We talked about that a lot on here, between a lot of things that are kind of all converging at once to really start helping the hobby. It's really cool to see that kind of. I want to know. You gotta let us know what he thinks of it and what his impressions are.
Oh yeah, I definitely will. Yeah, definitely will. Because I figure me and him and his dad can sit around when I give it to him and build the models because they're all snap fit. You know what I mean? And then it's got the 2-page 40K rules in there for just the stuff in the box set. So it should be pretty easy, and then we'll just play a couple games and get them situated.
If I was a betting man, I would say G-Dub has some sort of plans for Age of Sigmar along those lines with some snap fit stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I guess technically the starter snap fit.
I mean, but you're not a betting man. You literally have metrics and volumes of information that you scour to determine these trends. And you're almost always right, as far as I can tell. On the subject of what's new, I heard that there is something brewing in the Battlefleet Gothic worlds.
Yeah, so last week they dropped Battlefleet Gothic Leviathan, and this came out for the iOS. It's not out for Android yet, but Android is coming, and I guess Windows Phone, and I'm really, really hoping that they drop it for PC, like through Steam or something like they did the Death Watch game. It is the actual tabletop. So where Battlefleet Armada, that you've heard me talk about because I love that game, is more in the spirit of Battlefleet Gothic. It's got
the skin of the universe, but it's its own total.
It's its own game, yeah. It's an RTS, and it's its own game, and it definitely feels like Battlefleet Gothic, but it is not the actual tabletop game. This Battlefleet Gothic Leviathan is the actual tabletop game. Like, flat out, same rules, same everything. It even rolls dice for you, drops the dice on there when you can see
cool.
stuff.
That's like the Blood Bowl game they had made, where there was 2 modes of play, and one of them was absolutely the tabletop game.
Yeah, this is straight up the tabletop game, and they've done some things that just make it fun. Like when when somebody targets your ship, you get like 5 seconds to decide whether or not you're going to brace for impact. You know what I mean? And you can just skip it, or you can let the countdown clock clock.
I was gonna say, is there a countdown clock? Because that'd be sweet.
Yeah, it has a countdown clock, which is awesome. But my favorite part of the game, which I was just like, this is brilliantly implemented. When you turn your ships, instead of just pointing and clicking to turn your ship, they have like a little ship's wheel on the side, and you have to actually spin the ship's wheel. And the first time I did it, I was like, really? You're going to make me spin this ship's wheel? But when you're in the moment, when you're playing the game, you're like, hard to port, you're spinning the ship's wheel. It is so much damn fun.
I'm spinning the shit out of this ship's wheel.
It is a great time. I have only gotten maybe 2 or 3 hours of gameplay out of it so far, because it is on my iPad and I've been kind of busy, so I didn't get a whole lot of playtime in. But those 3 hours immediately, I mean, I had been playing the game 15 minutes, and I was like, man, I wish I hadn't sold my Battlefleet Gothic. Like, I wanted to get my minis and put it back on the table and play the tabletop again. But here I could. And they've got, unfortunately, I have not been able to test the multiplayer yet, but they do have multiplayer. So that is a thing. You could just totally play Battlefleet Gothic again on your tablet, you know, or your smartphone. As long as it's iOS right now, but Android and Windows are on the way apparently.
So now you can play 2 old classic games. You can play Warhammer Fantasy, basically in Total War, you know, Warhammer, or you can play BFG. So I wonder if that's kind of a precedent for, you know, them licensing out the bigger titles to.
That's definitely the trend. I mean, that means they're working toward a realistic 40K sim.
Yeah, I would love
would be
to
interesting.
See that. I'd settle for Total War 40K, you know what I mean, instead of like a straight tabletop port. But it seems like Dawn of War 3 is gonna.
A 40K sim would kind of suck, because then that means that really would hardline what people play. Instead of like you go to a tournament and everyone's got a different like type of Eldar, it literally, when like access to models is not a thing anymore, it would turn straight into like, you just, all right, everyone's got the exact same list.
Yeah, pretty much.
Got it. This sucks now.
But I would love to see Mordheim or Necromunda. And I mean, Mordheim, they have a pretty decent Steam version of Mordheim on there. It's not exactly the tabletop game, but if you're itching to play some Mordheim, there is a PC Mordheim game. And then there is, of course, Vermintide that's out there, which is like a Left 4 Dead type game where you have
I was like, Left for Warhams.
Yeah, Left 4 Warhammer, and so if you haven't played that, that's a blast too. It's a lot of fun.
No, Left for Nurgle.
Yeah, but yeah, it's this Battlefleet Gothic Leviathan. It's got a campaign, which from the title you can probably guess it is Tyranids are invading. You know, so the graphics are great. You know, it's a great little tablet game. Works very well. I can't recommend it enough for the price. It's outstanding.
Sick. Can't wait. I mean, I can't play video games anymore. I can't trust myself, but I'll just trust you.
Nah, ain't nobody got time for that.
Nah, man. I mean, it's not. I mean, I got time if I was disciplined enough to be like, I'm gonna hit this up for 2 hours.
Oh, well, you can multitask because you can play Pokemon while you're driving. So
no, that's what I'm saying. It's like that's why Pokemon's the game for me, is because I can do that while driving places. That's easy.
Yeah.
Like when I go out to the store, Pokemon, you know. But this can't multitask this game.
No.
Well, it is turn-based, so.
Oh, so make them wait forever. Hell yeah, I'll play it.
Well, yeah.
It's like Words with Friends. Like a week later, you make your move.
I'll be the most annoying player of all time.
Oh, that would suck.
So what else? What else is new? Is there anything else?
No, I think we covered it. We got BFG. We got the Horus Heresy Betrayal at Calth box sets, and we got the new AOS stuff, General's Handbook, and the new starter kit. Yeah, that's about it.
Sick. I mean, a pretty solid week off and coming back in. Some cool shit dropped. I love to see that. GW making them plays, licensing them titles, keeping their game systems alive, and that also shows you, like, that'll segue into like what we talk about later. But that just shows you that, I mean, this is a new GW, man. This isn't the old GW that didn't give a shit about us anymore. They didn't listen to what we had to say. That's old. That's behind us. You know, like, they're like, okay, Here's the General's Handbook. Okay,
well, if you
FAQs every week, like.
Yeah, and they're spacing that out. I feel like instead of just putting all their eggs in this Age of Sigmar basket over the summer, like if you notice the past 4 weeks has been a 40K release, Age of Sigmar, 40K Age of Sigmar, and then they got the FAQs going on.
They've got an amazing content schedule. Even when they don't have models coming out, they got video games coming out.
And this is pretty much, after we see the White Dwarf go back to the monthly format, that's pretty much the complete whitewashing of the old Tom Kirby policies. So we kind of know at that point that they're all ahead full. They've got their foundation built, and now it's time to do the new GW, coming this September.
Loving the new GW, man. But Haspel, I think we got a world famous webcast recap.
Yeah, we have one big question that came out. It was from Michael Carlin. He asked, was there any chance we could get a tutorial on how to make a badass display board? Yeah, I will have an article on Spikey Bits probably within the week. I just got to take a couple pictures, photographs, and stuff on how to do it. But the easy way to do it is just get a piece of MDF, cut it down, and then go to Michael's or Hobby Lobby and buy one of those custom, picture frames that you can put together. It'll run you about $20 in materials, and then you use either just sand with glue, or what I like to use is Vallejo makes this like pumice stone stuff that's mixed with resin, and it'll harden when it's exposed to air, and it's fantastic for basing. And you just smear that on the MDF and paint it, and you're pretty much done.
And so you have like a really cool trim border because you're laying the picture frame down, right?
Yes.
And now you're looking at one of those classy borders. You can even go to a plaque store and get a little plaque with your army's name on it, right? And put it on this border.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can make it as expensive or as cheap as you want. I mean, you don't even need to use the picture frames I'm talking about are like these metal picture frames that you like screw together. But you could just buy a picture frame that's to the size that you want.
Yeah, I mean, you can cut out half of this, depending on how much money you add and how baller you want it to be.
But that's why, like, for those locals that are listening to the podcast, that's why I penalize people for not having a display board. Because if you're at a tournament and you don't have one, you just made your life a lot harder for no reason. Like, just
$20 is like the cheapest part of your army, bro.
Yeah, just get a board that you can carry your army on, and it looks nice. And guess what? You get higher paint scores if your stuff's on a display board because it just looks better.
And if you make it under this Haspel suggestion, that's also a movement tray, like for moving your army around. It's not you're not talking about one of these crazy tri-level display boards that you sit in the corner the whole day. This is one that you can carry around your army on. You got efficiency there, dual purpose. You lay it off over the side, put your dead models back on it as you go, and it's already filled up by the end of your game, and you move to your next tournament, your next round. Like, that's a super convenient, functional, and augments to your army.
Yeah, it works very well. But I should have that. I'll write it up this week, and should be within a week on Spikey Bits.
A good old analog tutorial.
Yeah, good step-by-step on how to do it.
People still love analog tutorials and analog battle reports. This is a whole industry for them still. Maybe one day we'll break into that.
That kind of goes along with what we were talking about earlier about, all the automations and things that happen, all the behind-the-scenes button pushing, and the thing that takes the longest is actually writing things out, obviously. And when you got the average article is roughly 300 words, stuff can take 30 minutes to an hour, to actually get all formatted up, and you're talking, now we're running a 15 article schedule. Let alone
the thought process, the cultivation of ideas, sourcing these ideas, getting on a phone with people, and then actually having it just written isn't even the end of it. Like analog articles definitely are. They take a little bit of work, man. And I know that personally because you and I are just close friends. That's why I don't do them.
Well, actually, you do them. Your painting tutorials are amazing.
Oh, they're amazingly well put together, and the analog article version of them. They're just beautiful, man. Like, I thank the person who puts them together and
Me too.
makes it look like I did it. Computers, they're so good.
It's a cat named Felix, I feel like.
Good old Felix. Well, let's take a quick commercial break, guys. Settle into this thing and let's bite down on these FAQ questions.
Veterans, have you been by thelongwar.net lately? New spoils are piling up. Sign up at thelongwar.net and claim your code to unlock valuable discounts at your favorite wargaming stores. Our friends at kingshobbiesandgames.com have added to that horde. An additional 5% off their already low prices. Sign up for free. thelongwar.net. Dear veterans, quickly! Make your way to thelongwar.net and find out how to reap your hard-earned spoils of this long war. For our allies at secretweaponsminiatures.com have rewarded us all with an extra 10% discount on all Secret Weapon Miniatures merchandise. So stock up, dear veterans, and enjoy.
And we're back. And I'm going to hand it over to, I think, Haspel for the what's new in the FAQ.
Yeah, well, I'm going to need to bounce off of Rob here too, because we missed during the week the Eldar FAQ, which I feel was kind of important. Out of there, I was really, really hoping that they would say that scat bikes only get one scatter laser per unit.
God, literally would be a fucking game changer.
But they did not comment on that. So the only thing that I saw that I was like, oh, well, that changes things a little bit, was the warp spiders now, instead of doing their 2 or 3d6 that it was when
flicker jump or whatever it is,
Right.
Glitter jump.
That's not an accurate statement.
They only get 1d6 now.
Yeah,
Rob, how many times can they do it? Is it still like every time they get targeted?
Once per target, right?
So it's still like they can go infinite still.
Yeah, every time they're targeted, they can.
Once per turn, when a unit with a special rule is chosen as the target of a shooting cat, it can immediately make a warp jump, moving
once per turn.
Once per turn. So it's the same as ITC FAQ. Moving 2d6 instead of 6 plus 2d6. So now your average is way lower than the 7, or excuse me, the 13. Yeah, 13 that it used to be.
Because they always add 6 to the number, right?
Yeah. So it's a lot harder for them to get away, especially in this crazy Wolfen world these days.
Oh, is that how it works? Is it like whatever they roll plus 6, or what is it?
That's how it used to work.
That's how it used to be, yeah.
Now it's whatever they roll?
Now it's 2d6.
On the 2d6, yeah.
Oh, just 2d6, I see.
So they could get got with that, roll a 2 or roll a 4 or something,
But now that it's official FAQ, that means you can try to get them to flicker first before you come in with a Helldrake or something.
Mm-hmm. Now this is official errata. This is the way it is. It's changed.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's not an FAQ. That's an errata.
Errata, because that's what I hated. I played a couple of games at Adepticon this last past Adepticon with our Helldrakes. Let's kill these warp spiders. Well, it's literally impossible to kill warp spiders with a Helldrake.
We have to get super lucky here.
They have to. Now that means they can roll a 3 and we can still get them.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
That's clutch.
I don't remember anything else really jumping out at me from the Eldar.
The arc, the serpent arc. They're intending to make it. You can tell by their wording that their intent is that it comes from dead center of the vehicle in the front hull. You can definitely tell that's what they're trying to say. They're like, this little point in the middle is obviously where it shoots from, and that makes sense too because the Wave Serpent kit has that little cross piece, and so. They still don't drive it home with enough detail in their words as GW do sometimes.
Yeah, and we're going to get into that when we start talking about more about. I know you have some stuff to say, but I'm just gonna say this, that I took a picture of the Wave Serpent and I drew a bunch of different arcs that were all fixed and all pointed forward. And I'm like, so which one is it? And then somebody actually came on there and made a comment that there was a 4th. And I'm like, I need more colored lines because it was starting to look like some sort of crazy geometry problem with all the different ways that the statement could be interpreted. And I was like, I'm kind of like, here guys, this is kind of what you just said. So can you narrow it down a little bit more for us?
luckily the Serpent Shield is not as OP as it once was in the last book. So it's almost moot now because it's not something that just crushes armies like it used to. But that's, that also brings me to an interesting point too. Is like, how many codexes is Eldar going to get? You know what I'm saying? Before Chaos gets a codex.
Oh yeah. Oh, by the way, yeah, that was another thing because they said that the Indian, Craftworld Indian was back. Like that's legit.
That was really interesting because remember that was the first one. That was the first supplement that kicked this whole like supplement craze off in the summer of 2012. And now they're saying it's legal. So you're like, oh, okay. Well, let me go re-download my cloud.
That doubles down on their statement they made a couple FAQs ago too, where they basically said all previous publications of formations was legal.
Yeah, yeah.
So basically, we have 2 Gosgo supplements that you can pick from. And now they're saying Ienden too. So it's pretty interesting. That also means that because some people were talking about Be'lakor, like, oh, you can't take Be'lakor or Chaos Space Marines anymore because of this, Mark of the Wolfen. And it's like, nah, man, like that doesn't turn off the other one, the other data sheet, And at first I was like, that's weird. Like, obviously this one replaces that one. But then they come up with all these FAQs where they say, nah, they're all good. All the formations, all the data slates. So that's pretty cool, GW.
Yeah, that works. I mean, that's it keeps people from, hey, I bought this book for this, for this reason, and now I can't use Ienden. You know what I mean? Man. So it keeps that good.
All they have to do is say you can still use the Ayatar book, and I'll be fine.
Oh, 13th Company for real. Back.
Not just 13th Company, Lost in the Damned.
I don't like that though. So that'd still be banned because I don't.
Or All-the-Way Strike.
All-the-Way Strike Force.
Oh no!
Jumping out them portals, yo.
Yeah, that shit was brutal. I remember my boy Tulio running that shit at a couple events. I was not ready for it.
All those dudes jumping out with them super ninja quick. Well, back then having fusion guns, like bringing fusion guns to bear at point blank, like anywhere you wanted, was definitely a thing in 3rd/4th edition. It's not as much of a thing now.
It is funny. I did watch him play Zuthway Strike Force against David's Lost in the Dam, and David straight steamrolled his ass.
Oh wow!
He was like, "I got the Zuthway Strike Force," and David's like, "I got Lost in the Dam. It doesn't matter what your name is."
That was such a powerful army back
then. It was so good. You know what I'm saying? But it's nothing that we don't play now. That's what I love about it. It's like it just shows you like where GW went. Like it was basically like we got mutants, aka cultists, right? With some Space Marine people in them, like champions, and we also got some guard tanks and some demons. That's literally what people do now. So that was what was so cool about it. That's what made it so powerful is that it had an ally matrix essentially. I mean, they had demon princes, demons, zombies. Some Lehman Russes and Basilisks, it was this shit. It was so ahead of its time.
Yeah, and that's interesting. You bring that up because you can see where they use a lot of test beds and supplements, things like Lord of the Rings or War of the Rings. A lot of that stuff from that rule set made it into 8th edition fantasy. A lot of 8th edition fantasy made it into 6th edition 40K. So when you start looking at these rules and it's the same designers working on things and they like to port stuff over, it really, July 2016, I'm calling it, next edition of 40K is probably going to be more similar to the way Age of Sigmar plays with the keyword system and a lot of, an attack is an attack. It doesn't matter whether it's shooting, it doesn't matter whether it's close combat. I could definitely see them going that way in a more streamlined system as they've already made that public comment that 40K is a little too clunky, and Age of Sigmar solves a lot of those problems.
I'm looking forward to that, but obviously the Tau just came out, and I know that Mike Haspel, he typed it all up already. He's the secret CEO of Games Workshop, and so, like, how you feeling about that thing?
I liked it. There were a couple things that were weird, but like for the command benefits on the coordinated firepower for the hunter contingent, they errated that and basically changed the wording without changing the rules, but made it very clear exactly how things are supposed to work, which I thought was a really good step in the right direction. Now, moving on to the FAQ, there were some things that were a little strange. Like, for instance, they talked about a flying monstrous creature or a flyer that's attacking a tide wall, and if they roll a 6, does the thing take a glancing hit? And the answer is yes. But the way it's worded, it makes it look like the flying monstrous creature takes a glancing hit.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Which is very clearly not what they mean. I mean,
how does that work?
Well, it says flying monstrous creature or flyer. So they just answered the flyer part, kind of. And they mean that the flying monstrous creature gets hit as well. But it just needs, some wording clarification. Now, there were a couple things that I was just like, okay, this is a definite boost for Tau, because they could be open for interpretation, and GW interpreted it the way a Tau player would interpret it. So they talked about the Piranha Firestream wing formations using the rearm and refuel rule. The entire unit comes back to the strength of the unit. So if you had 4 piranhas in there and they're down to 1, and you use the rearm and refuel, they're back up to 4. So
good. Yeah, obviously, the most liberal interpretation of that rule.
Yeah, fantastic.
And we already knew that one was getting looked at by a lot of people already. And with that clarification, I mean, expect to see some piranhas go out of stock on GW soon, I imagine.
Oh yeah.
And of course, I'm always like the voice of hate against this shit. It's like, the one that pissed me off the most was how too little, too late the Riptide question was about, can it shoot its ordnance and all its weapons? Because I guess the way people interpret it is monstrous creatures can shoot all their weapons, right? And they're saying, no, but you still have to use the ordnance rule, where you can only shoot the ordnance or the other weapons. And I was like, how many years I was playing against 3 or 4 Riptide ion cannons, ion accelerators, shooting all their stupid guns at me? You telling me they only got to pick one? Get out of here! Why even give me this FAQ now? No one's even doing that combo anymore.
Well, and they clarified a lot of stuff in that same vein. They clarified a lot of stuff that's going on with the marker lights. A lot of the stuff that people would do, that I've seen folks do, where folks would marker light one unit to boost up the ballistic skill, and then use split fire, and still have the boosted ballistic skill, even though they were shooting at a unit that had not been marker lighted. They clarified that and were like, you cannot do that. The marker lights only affect the unit that had been marker lighted. They actually had a lot of clarifications. I think two, almost 3 pages of marker light clarifications.
Did you also notice and marker lights are clutch, because that's basically the what do I want to say, the lifeblood of the Tau these days. Having the marker lights are such a boon for any Tau commander to utilize, especially. Oh my God.
Marker lights makes that army in a lot of. Whenever I go square up against a Tau army, and I see that the commander with a marker drone squad, I'm like, this is gonna suck. Because he's gonna get 10 marker hits, because it's hit on 2s and rerolls. It's like.
And that's why the Tetra became so popular too, is because it can throw out a lot of the marker lights, marker lights.
Yeah, for real.
Another lifeblood of the Tau is I would say the number 2 thing that a lot of people were playing off of was the coordinated firepower rule that it received an official errata. I guess similar to the one that ITC was saying, but basically it outlines, through a very lengthy series of interconnected sentences that how it actually works now.
Yeah, that's what Haspel, I think, was talking about. That basically it didn't change anything; it just worded it so it's clear and set in stone.
Right. I just wanted people to understand that that's what that was, because it does say stuff in there about additionally marker light counters, et cetera, et cetera.
No, that's pretty cool. And I think what's the other huge one that came out of there?
I'm saving that for last, because I got a couple more. So one that was interesting was they have the Tau homing beacon, like a guy with a homing beacon. Mm-hmm. In the Tau homing beacon wording, I guess it doesn't say it has to be on the table before. So what they mentioned was that the guy can come out, like he can come out of reserves first, and as long as he's on the table when your next reserves who's using the homing beacon comes on, they can use it. So I thought that was kind of cool. That was interesting. One of them that I did not like, and I made a comment on their page. I was like, you guys put your finger in my eye. The countermeasures on the Ghost Keel, you can use it once per model, not once per unit.
So the whole unit gate, so the whole it's basically 3 turns. Like,
yeah, that hurt.
So huge.
Yeah, so I had a lot of hate for that ruling, but I mean that's the ruling. That's the way it's supposed to be. One of the things that I did like is they said the storm surge target priority on the D missiles. So you no longer can just like shoot one D missile at something, see if it kills that unit, and then fire another one, and then fire another one. And this is a change I would like to see to 40K.
It did. It harkens back. They actually already made that that notation. I think like in one of the earlier FAQs where they did mention that that you're not supposed to be cherry picking your shots like that. So I think this is another example of them like reinforcing. It's kind of like when they talked about like the aura coming out of the vehicles. And then later they were like they wrote it into the Assassin Codex yet again that he doesn't do it, the Achillex Assassin. And so they've done this like 3 or 4 times now during the course of their FAQs where they made a broader statement that indicates that you can't do something, and then when they got to another FAQ question where it could happen again, they made sure to be as consistent as possible to remind us all, no, even this guy can't do it.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
That's huge. That means you can't go in there and because that means like Wraith Knights can't walk around with their 2D cannons and shoot them one by one and wait till things happen.
Right, and that's a change I would like to see game wide, but I think that it would require some serious changes to the game. But I would like to see during the firing phase, the shooting phase, that all your shooting is simultaneous. You should have to declare all your shooting before you roll for it. Because that would change the game quite a bit. But I mean, that's the thing is it would require, right now it's too cumbersome to implement. It would require some big changes.
I like this was how super heavies were worded in the Apocalypse book.
What Haspel is saying would mean that we couldn't really play games over 1,500 points because you'd have too many units to track. You'd have to be like, all my shots are going here before you start rolling, and you have to basically write that shit down.
Right, and that's why I said it's too cumbersome to implement right now.
The game's too big. Yeah. But sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, Rob.
Oh, I was just saying I'm not sure exactly where that is written, specifically if it's what FAQ or whatever it's in now currently. There's a lot of information to keep track of, obviously, but that was the way when they first introduced super heavies. Into the mainstream air quotes in Apocalypse, they had it worded that way.
Yeah, that everything you had to fire all your weapons,
and the thing is, they never said that it didn't work that way anymore. We just started interpreting it that way because how shooting works in 7th edition, where you have to go weapon by weapon.
I don't think. It definitely doesn't say it in the main rulebook. I wonder if it says it in escalation.
Well, no, they didn't take it. The thing is that they just they assumed we would still understand that rule. But when they changed, So like the initial argument was something with Power of the Machine Spirit. Do you have to declare your Power of the Machine Spirit shot before? And absolutely do not. If you go by pure 7th edition rules, where you resolve each weapon one by one, you don't. It doesn't make you don't stack them all in your hand and sling them. You have to roll them one by one. It's very clear. This is why a heavy flamer and a flamer in the same squad is stupid. Because you're gonna put one down. Lower the number of models before you put the other one down because they're 2 different weapons. You see what I'm saying? And so this was like very clear. 7th edition works this way. So by them not like reminding us that anytime something can shoot a different target, you have to declare your shots first. By them not reminding us, we just ported over the way 7th edition shooting works to that concept. So that's where this phenomenon of rolling one by one on these weapon types and then picking the new target later came from. And they just came in on these. They're just coming in on these FAQs and reminding us, hey, it's always been this way. We're sorry we didn't make that super clear in the main rulebook.
Yeah. Well, now they spelled it out exactly how it's supposed to work. And now we get to the best one, which is the funnest one, because I don't think it's
yeah.
I'm going to read it word for word because it is awesome. So what happens when a tank shock is used against an anchored KV-128 Storm Surge? Does the unstoppable rule come into effect? And the answer is no. If the Storm Surge is anchored, it is destroyed, which is awesome.
Which is brutal. Which is, I mean, you got to tank shock it. If you tank shock it and it's braced, we do believe by the word you know how tank shocking works. It does get to overwhelm. It still gets the death or glory.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So because it's, a successful tank shock only happens after their leadership check and or the death of glory. So they still get an opportunity to fire one shot at you, and if they don't blow you up, that shit comes off the table.
Yep, and I looked it up. It says you just got to pass some round check. It doesn't say anything about gargantuan creatures can't do it. So, question is, what weapon does he choose?
Yeah, against what target? Now we talked about obviously having this be a rule means top players are going to be aware of getting got, and it's going to be hard. We've outlined a few possible gotcha bitch moves that exist in Warhammer 40K right now that you might be able to catch a top player slipping on. And I think the one that Haspel was preaching was obviously Wave Serpents have a massive advantage.
Yeah.
Because they're skimmers. They don't even have to like if you try to bubble wrap this guy, he can just say I'm skimmer moving over those two bubble wraps and tank shocking this guy. Basically it's like I'm only tank shocking this guy because I'm a skimmer. So you don't even get to the layered death or glories from multiple bubble wraps or anything like that. You just get to say, hey, here it is, blow my Wave Serpent up, which I'm gonna jink, get my 3-up Hollow Field save. You know what I'm saying? So a Wave Serpent is gonna be deadly to a brace Storm Surge, obviously. And the one Rob brought up is my favorite one, but before we get to that one, I'll talk about the White Scars is a great one. White Scars Gladiator Strike Force with Khan as your captain. You get to basically scout 10 rhinos up 12 inches before the game starts, and that means the Storm Surge has to basically say, I'm going to hide back here in this little tiny corner and never move. Because they're so close to me, that means I have to fend off 10 rhinos trying to tank shock me. That are free, by the way, free rhinos. So that's a good one. But Rob, tell them about the best one.
The one in your army?
Yeah, it's not even just my army. Right now, if you play orcs and you're trying to win games with them, one of the most popular units is from the Dreadmod PDF that you can get on Forge World's website. That's Zadsnark the Ripper.
Yep, Zagstark the Ripper. I got he rides the beast.
Yeah, right, and it's not a normal orc bike. So he doesn't have a 4-up armor save, and he doesn't have exhaust cloud special. He rides the beast. So he's got his own weird set of rules. The beast doesn't have twin link dagger cannon. It has twin link big shooter. So it has 36-inch range. The beast, doesn't confer +1 jinx save when he goes flat out, but he does have skilled rider. That's how he still gets it. That's why he's also one of the best units for orcs, because he confers skilled rider to a unit. So if you have a unit of bikes with exhaust cloud, they stack together because one of them is +1 jinx save, one of them is +1 jinx save when going flat out. So that's how you get 2-up jinx saves on orc bikes. So he's an amazing model. Not to mention he also makes orc bikers objective secure. He also makes some troop choices, aka objective secure and CADs. And he also has an initiative for Strength 10 Power Claw.
Which will do really well because
it does work.
Ability.
Yeah. But I guess but his special rule that is like 5 paragraphs to describe a very simple thing he can do is the beast. When moving flat out, he can choose to make a tank shock. Now this is a guy. This isn't a tank. This is a biker. And when he does this, he has to move a minimum of 12 inches to a maximum of 24. So he can go 24-inch flat out, not the normal 12 that a biker can do, but 24 when doing this tank shock, minimum of 12. And when he does it, if you do a death or glory, and you inflict a single wound on him, you are now, instead of having to get out of the way or whatever, you are now just locked in close combat. So this guy can literally go 36 inches and get in close combat. But obviously, if you fail your leadership check or you don't want a death or glory, you just get out of the way and he's on objective. This is an amazing tool in an orc army. I do it all the time in the last turn. sling them 36 inches up on some, Eldar jet bikes trying to wagon wheel this objective, or these dudes over here, and like now you bully your way in, and they're like, oh, I just contested this, but obviously the implications on the Brace Storm Surge, that's a 36-inch tank shock. A lot of top players might not see that coming. So that is, I'm going 36 inches across the table. If you are 35.9 inches away from me, you've been tank shocked, son. And if you're braced, you have one choice not to be destroyed. That is to tank shock my guy and successfully inflict a wound.
Yeah. I have a bit of a damper, though, on that. Because I don't know if you can tank shock if you move flat out.
That's his rule. The Beast.
Yeah, that's his special rule.
Think about it. What?
Oh,
okay. First off, bikes can't tank shock. Like, it's a bike, dog. He can only tank shock in this one way, which is when moving flat out. So it's it's only during the flat out movement that he can tank shock, and he only gets to go 24 inches when he's doing his tank shock, like for his flat out move. That's the only point. So this guy has a very special 5-paragraph, wording on this. So he can go 36 inches, touch this guy, and now this guy has to decide what's his best chance for inflicting a single wound, just to have the right to be in close combat with a guy who's got 5 strength 10, initiative 4 power claw attacks. And obviously we talked about it. The Ripper, you can jink against any shooting attack at any point in the game. So he's gonna jink when you fire Death of Glory.
Except that the Death of Glory hits automatically.
No, jinking is cover save. So you hit automatically. I jink. It's shooting.
Oh, I see. And just use that as your save. I see.
It's a shooting attack.
I'm tracking, man. I'm a little slow.
Yeah. Jinking is against any shooting attack. You get to make a single shooting attack, which hits automatically. So if you use your D missile, that's fine. I get a 3 of jink save. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'll take that math, and it doesn't even kill him. He's toughness 6. You have to hit that 6 with the D shot, assuming I'm marker lit, which I'm not gonna be probably. You see what I'm saying? Like, so that's only a strength 8 shot. It's not gonna kill him. It's gonna do 1 wound. We're in close combat. Eat your 5 hit on 3 strength 10 power claw attacks, and you're braced, and you don't even get a stomp. You see what I'm saying? No. And so that's what I'm saying. It's like, so you better hit me with those strength 5 ignore cover missiles, and better get that lucky hit that lucky 5. That and I think is it one single shot, or is it one single weapon system for Death of Glory?
You get, I believe. No. Hold on, let me pull it up. You get
one shot. It's one shot, because they say something. I don't have the book in front of me, but it says something about even if the weapon is assault 3 or something like that, it is only one shot.
So that is what I wanted to hear. So now if you go with the ignore cover one, you have to roll a 5. If you go with the strength 8 one, you have to roll a 2, and I get a 3 to block it. So this is not good math either way you slice it for the poor Storm Surge. Here it is. Zadsnark the Ripper is the number 1 brace Storm Surge killer in the game of 40K right now.
Now we had thought, and it's even like it's even worse if he chooses the D weapon and then he rolls a 1 to wound and does nothing. You're like,
but it's not gonna be. I mean, it's only gonna be D if this guy's lit up with a marker light.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, wouldn't that be funny?
Like, and it would be funny, so I'm just saying, it's like that's crazy to think about. Like, you catch someone slipping with an orc character, that is the number 1 guy. That means Storm Surgers can't brace against someone playing Zadsnark. You just can't, because he can. 36 inches is a real thing.
Yeah, he's there. Now it's also, I thought the Cestus Assault Ram could do it, but the Cestus Assault Ram can make a ram attack. It's not the same. It's not the same as performing that tank shock. It only does damage.
Yeah, it's a special tank shock versus vehicles. So unfortunately, that would have been the number. If he can just do that, that would have been the number 1 shit right there. But I can't wait to play my first Tau guy. And obviously, like, we can go to the meat and potatoes, because you know what? I would love to play my first Tau guy and catch him slipping on this FAQ. But you know what he's going to say? He's going to say that's just a draft.
Yeah.
He's going to say it's just a draft. That's not real. We don't play drafts. We don't do that.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. When was the last time Games Workshop had an open forum for wanting our opinion and a clear and concise place for us to put that opinion for them to read it? And we're just going to be like, no, I'm not going to do it. Like, come on.
Yeah. And my opinion, I've been I've been kind of on the fence on that. The way I've been kind of treating stuff is that if it says errata, that is a change right now. That is implemented as soon as they put it up. You know, the errata, like the Dreadnought errata that they put out. That's the way it is. You know what I mean? But the FAQs, I've been kind of treating like, well, it's a draft. It's not meant to be implemented right now. It's still in work. It's a beta. But I'm starting to turn around on that because I'm like, you know what? Beta is only good if you beta test it. And we're not beta testing. we're not play testing this stuff to go, hey, you guys, you know, this sounded really broken when I read it, but it kind of makes sense, or vice versa, where I read this and it made sense, but now it kind of broke the game. And we were talking about earlier on the webcast the whole the walls conundrum.
Yep.
You know, walls on the ruins conundrum. You know, and honestly, I haven't been playing it that way. I've been playing it the way I've still been playing walls since 4th, which is if you can't draw line of sight through it, you got to go around. If you could draw line of sight because they had a window.
Yeah, I mean, you've actually been playing that. You've been playing that on the bottom floor of a ruin. You can't roll a DT test and move your 10 Space Marines out of the ruin.
That's the way I've always played it.
Yeah, see, you're a unique individual because that is definitely not.
I know, which is why I lose a lot apparently.
that's not standardized. I mean, so like I guess the question is, we said GW's FAQ, who's using them? And a lot of people online that we talk to, because we do talk to a lot of people online through the Facebook channels and Spikey Bits hobby group. A lot of people have this very nonchalant opinion, and they always make this real, super lackadaisical, arrogant statement. Like, a lot of people I talk to, and they're just like, it's just a draft. First off, it's not just a draft. It is the company of the models that we dedicate hours of our lives to. It's their attempt at fixing something that they now know is wrong. And like Haskell said, it's a beta. Betas don't work if you don't fucking playtest in the beta. Like vehicle trial assault and trial vehicle and assault rules that came out after 3rd going into 4th, we played those for like 6 months, man. And not all the rules made it into 4th edition.
Yeah, that's very true.
Like and so let me tell you this. If you don't agree with that Storm Surge rule, like I came at you with that Zasnark the Ripper, and I crunched your ass with them, and you hit me with this, it's just a draft. Fine, just a draft. Got it. You want to know what's gonna make the final FAQ if you don't actually start playing it and proving empirically on the Facebook page, on the Warhammer 40K Facebook page? That's just not gonna get changed. That's gonna go from draft to final.
Yeah,
anything
changed.
Anything you think is stupid. If you're not there playing, taking notes, taking pictures with your cell phone, and then going back up on the page and posting your findings and getting people to rally behind you and get them to see the way you see it, like if you don't do that shit, you just say it's just a draft. All this shit you hate, man, it's gonna be the final, man.
Yeah, it will be the final. It will be the way it is. It's kind of interesting. I mean, along the same lines, like I know we're playing a lot, and in the current era, we have kind of turned into a pick and choose kind of, well, are you using the rules as written? Are you using the ITC? Are you allowing unbound? Are we, the tournaments seem to be each tourney organizer is setting up his own kind of thing. There is no set standard. But like, for instance, this is an example, the Death from the Skies, the new flyer rules in Death from the Skies. If you remove the dogfight phase, they're basically just 2 pages. And it doesn't change that much. It adds like break turns and the pursuit and the agility stats, and that's really it. And they told you in that book, these are not like under the dogfight phase. It says the dogfight phase is optional. But everything else, it says these replace the fly rules, and we're still not using them. So it's just kind of interesting there too.
It's super lame, dude. Like there's no other word I can use for it. You're lame when you just choose the rules that make you the happiest and disregard the ones that frustrate you in any way. That is a lame stance to take. A very one-dimensional, very self-centered stance to take on a social game that requires 2 people to stand across from each other for 3 hours.
Yeah. I don't know if I'd be as harsh as you are. I would say as long as I'm still of the mindset that as long as you know the rules going into it, you know what I mean? Like, hey, we are going to be using ITC, or we are going to be using GW FAQs. Then I think that's kosher.
I always like to know the rules before I go in. It doesn't change the fact lame as shit if you like I said, if you pick and choose.
Well, but like you said,
let's disregard this entire part of the game, which is officially part of the game,
right?
Because it frustrates me.
And like you said,
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh no, that's all right.
Throwing out a complete supplement a la carte, just be like, this doesn't exist, is what got us into trouble, or what started to get us into trouble in 6th edition in the first place. Like, this, we're not, none of us, no system, no TO, no, community organization is smart enough to understand what's going on at Games Workshop, nor should we even try. We should try to play off of what they're doing, which is kind of what we're doing, I feel like. And to just be like, no, we're not playing with it. Like, we saw it last year where, one week they came out with new Eldar. The next week they came out with, Lords of War, gargantuan creatures of the new boogeyman. The very next week they came out with Grav everywhere.
People were talking about banning Grav guns.
Like, it's just like everything happens for a reason. Embrace it.
And at least play. I mean, you got to do your due diligence, bro. Like, you got to play these things. You got to report on it. Like, the Facebook page doesn't matter if you're not on there being proactive in the community.
Yeah, and that's what, because I don't kind of want to speak for ITC, because I don't really know what Reese and Frankie have in mind. But my guess is that when these GW FAQs drop, they're going to be incorporated. So it's like, if you definitely see a rule that you think breaks the game, like say the drop pods or whatever, we need to be out there and take a picture or play the game first of all and see how broken it gets, or if it's not broken at all. And then I would say we all have smartphones. We're all up on Facebook. Start taking pictures and go, hey, this is what the repercussion of that rule is that I'm playing the Black Mains and I just dropped 8 drop pods. And not only is my opponent unable to move, but my own guys are unable to move, because when has it been legal that you can move through your own Rhino? You never could do that. So if the doors are part of the model, I can't walk over the doors. I have to now walk around the doors. That just cripples the Black Mains because of the real estate taken up by the pods. You literally can't move around. So it's like, well, I need to take pictures of that and show GW that, hey, this is what happens if you're treating this. Is this the way it's intended? And that way, if they come back and say, if they do a second draft before they go final, but if they come back and say, hey, no, that's what we intended, that the doors are part of the model and you totally have to walk around them, then that's the way it is. You know what I mean? But we have an opportunity here to actually interact with the rules makers, and we're not taking advantage of it for the most part. We're just not doing it. People there, a couple folks are complaining and stuff or commenting when the first day or two that the FAQs come out, and then it just trickles off. You can kind of see that the comments just trickle off when you try to revisit one of these older sites to see, if anything new's been added to it. And it's kind of sad if we let that happen, because I think
truly sad, man.
Yeah, I feel like GW is doing their part. They're like, hey, here's this. Now play test them. I mean, we complain about them not play testing all the time.
Yeah, and you know what? They just finally admitted they don't play test, and so we got to do it for them. So like, stop complaining. Stop bitching about them, because I know it's become standard protocol for us to be mad at GW, but this is the new GW. Like, can't be mad at the new GW for the sins of the old GW. Like, you just gotta get over it. You gotta embrace it, and let's work together. Because nothing changes if you're just gonna be a hater and resist it, and you're like, I'm gonna take my ball and go home. Like, literally, they're quite clearly trying right now, and we're so close to getting everything we want. For you to for someone to turn their back on it, walk away from it all, say, I'm not gonna even play these rules. Like, I might even play 40K anymore. It's like, dog, like it's It's not even like that right now. This is the new people, the new CEO, the new company. They got some young millennials in there, obviously, and they taught some of these old crusty CEOs how Facebook works finally.
Yeah, the whole isolationist hobby isolationist thing has gotten us into trouble in the past, and I'm not going to do that, and I'm going to play 6th edition tournaments instead of 7th edition. Well, that's never really happened before. It happened with Age of Sigmar, obviously, to fantasy, but hopefully that gets solved with the General's Handbook. I echo all your sentiments. I think it's our duty as hobbyists, playing these games out there. Obviously, there's people that just paint, and they don't really play, but they want to see this stuff, and we talked about that.
Even a casual guy in his Beats lab wants to know the rules, man.
Yep. So I feel like it's our duty. If you notice something, say something, on there. Like, hey, this is a got you. What do you guys think? Oh, okay. I don't agree with that. What do you guys think? Oh.
We even saw it, like Haspel said with the Dreadnought. I mean, they literally, people came in hot, and GW came out the next day and was like, all right, fine. It's done. Exactly. Fixed it. So it's proven that they're listening. They're finally listening, man. You got to put down your Pokemon Go. I'm not saying like give up on Pokemon. I said put it down for like 5 minutes. Or like just close the app for 5 minutes and get on Facebook and tell them how you think, because obviously that's insane to stop playing Pokemon Go.
Obviously.
Yeah. I'm playing it right now.
While you're walking around your house?
Yep.
Well, Haspel's having a tournament at the what is that? Pokestop?
Yeah, this is just off topic, obviously, but our local game store made themselves a Pokestop, and then for like $1 for like 30 minutes they drop a lure. You know what I mean? And a bunch of Pokemon come there. They are a Pokestop on there, and they brought a bunch of new business into the store. People that didn't even know the store was there. They wander in, and then, oh, hey, I'm already a gamer, and oh, hey, you're in a game store now. So you're going to drop some coin. So it's going to happen. So it's pretty kick-ass. It's pretty cool.
I'm super excited about that. And obviously we talked about you are running a tournament this week.
No. That's going to be in August, end of August.
End of August, but you are running all this GW FAQs and everything?
Yeah, right now I have kind of a poll out to the players to go, hey, do you guys want to do this or not? I'm kind of leaning towards I want to run the GW FAQs.
But the problem is it's still a store, and they still got to get people to sign up, and that's where it gets difficult to make these decisions because we know what we want to do, but we also don't want to show up on game day and have nobody show up because they all are salty about the FAQ being a draft.
Exactly, and so that's why I kind of have, hey, what do you guys want to do? And I'm trying to keep this tournament. This is kind of an experiment. It's a big beta, but I'm going to try to keep it as raw as possible. Like we're not using ITC. Everything is allowed. The only thing that I say is not allowed is the Primarchs, and that's just because they're not all out yet. They're it's a 1,500 point tourney, so if you want to blow 800 points on a Primarch, I would encourage you to. But I just felt like because all the Primarchs are not out, I'm not going to run any of the Primarchs. But we're allowing everything, so I'll have some feedback on how that. 30K is even allowed, so we're going to see just how insane things can get. But you're also going Unbound. You're letting people do Unbound too, right? Yeah, if people want to run Unbound, they can run Unbound. We're allowing everything, but it is they're bringing the hobby back format with the comp and theme scores. So, and I warned people. I said this is not a hard boys time type tournament. It's not bring your most broken stuff and try to break the game. And I'm slowly. You can try that if you want, but there's going to be a bringing hobby back score system, so you're probably not going to win if you do that. Right, you'll win your games and then not win anything tournament wide because you have bad comp and theme scores. So, and I'm just trying to see what will happen. So hopefully it'll be a positive experience for everybody, and I'll have some feedback for folks. But that's at the end of August. That's a ways away. and we'll just see how that turns out. I'm also beta testing some Long War missions for our mission pack that's going to be coming out. We'll be beta testing them at that tournament as well.
And the mission pack in its current state is already available on Spikey Bits right now on the top banner, right?
Yeah. The whole bringing the hobby back thing is on the top banner of Spikey Bits. I think it's under tournament pack. You can download the whole thing on how to run it, and it has the war score template in there as well, so that you can just plug that into war score and run it straight up and run the tourney. We're just trying to make it as easy as possible, but I have a mission pack that's going to come out with like 6 to 8 missions in it, and then also a kind of a tournament handbook, resurrecting GW's old tournament handbook. In fact, a lot of my tournament handbook is copied word for word from the old 2005 Rogue Trader Tournament GW how to run a tournament thing. So, with the gamers, Bill of Rights, all that stuff, I've expanded upon it a little bit, but all that's not going to be out for probably a month and a half. So we'll see.
One caveat, it's under free downloads on the Spikey Bits menu bar.
Oh, there you go. Cool.
Yeah, that's where you'll find it. Well, I think we made it through the meat and potato section.
Yeah, I think so. We hammered that pretty hard.
We just caught up on 2 weeks. No big deal. Right?
Yeah.
Nailed it. So I'm gonna put the stamp of seal of approval on this, but just wanted to throw it out there that next weekend is the American Team Championships in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and I think at current time there's 46 teams confirmed going to be there. So 46, 5 players a team. You're talking nearly well over 200 people. But so there's going to be a lot of cool stuff there, a lot of cool armies.
You're running X-Wing out there, aren't you?
I am running the X-Wing tournament. Yeah, actually, don't really have a team this year, and Shane asked me to help with that. So I was like, yeah, man, I got you. I know some X-Wing. And they just dropped a big FAQ changing up some stuff in X-Wing that invalidated a lot of things and made some other stuff good. So there's it's a brave new world right now on the X-Wing scene, which is pretty cool to see. Just it's a lot of games to keep up with here
Definitely.
on the Spikey Bits Network. But it's a lot of fun. So I wouldn't want to be doing anything else. That's for sure. Except for maybe cat herding. That would be exciting. So I'm going to call it there, everybody. Thanks for listening. If you haven't done so already, make sure you head on over to thelongwar.net. That's the home of the battle reports for exclusive content, early access videos, and all the stuff we talk about on here that, hey, this will be up on Monday, and more. Become a veteran of the Long War today.
Check out thelongwar.net. Become a member of the Hall of Veterans today for the fastest growing library of Wargame-related video content, modeling, painting, and playing. Not to mention all the sick discounts I receive from some of our sponsors. TheLongwar.net is committed to bringing hobby back, and we can't do it without you.